overall a good night. Like, at the very least, marginally better than the other nights. So, first, it was another night I went out solo. But throughout the course of the night, opened several groups of people. I began conversations with several groups of people, including multiple groups of women. And that has been a sticking point in the past is I've definitely, and I feel like even tonight, was a little bit more comfortable starting conversations with, me by myself talking to another person out by themselves versus me by myself starting a conversation with a group of people, right? It has been more difficult for me. With the group, I felt like I'm interrupting them or interceding on their night or whatever else, and it's caused me more hesitation, and getting over that hesitation and still walking up and beginning the conversation is something that I have not done with nearly the consistency that I would like. So that has been a big goal of mine, and tonight, like I say, was better. Definitely started the night kind of, walked around the venue. Didn't walk around the venue and back, but walked around the venue, kind of parked myself there for a while. Started getting into it a little bit, like, first walk in, kind of stiff, kind of, feel more stifled, but then as I start to vibe out, move a little bit, move my body a little bit, like dancing kind of, but like a very toned down version of dancing. But just that like movement, getting myself out of my head in the present moment, enjoying the music, kind of loosening myself up a little bit, right? Start doing that. Really like someone is then dancing in front of me, see him kind of turn around and start looking at me and then do like a bit of a dance himself. And it's like I start kind of matching that or mirroring that a little bit. He and I connect. I don't remember what he said, but he said something to start the conversation. I pick up on it and continue it for a little bit. So that was the first set. And doing that, a couple other people come by and like many, I've talked about this before in videos, but many people start to like come and stand very close to me. And like, there's enough space to where they don't need to be that close. So it's something that happens. I notice it like there's several reasons I think it happens. One, I think it is a way of demonstrating that they are attracted to me or interested in me or like my vibe without using those words and communicating them in a direct way. Another thing, I think they like me and, or at least are interested and maybe would like the chance to observe me close up. So that is another reason they come and stand very close to me. Another one is they want me to start a conversation with them and are a bit hesitant to start a conversation with me. So they'll park themselves very close to me and kind of wait for me to start talking to them. And this gets like a bit extreme as well, where it's then like they don't just stand close to you, they like try and reach out and touch you in some way, either as they're walking by, like brush up against you, or stand very close and then are dancing and then bump into you, or brush up against you, or stand close. Women do this, like throw their hair back to where it then like touches you, or start dancing and then the arm like bumps into you. Like the hair, the arm, the bump, the body bump from the dance all happened to me tonight. Which, like, knowing it's gonna happen, I've gotten a little bit better at using the kind of situational conversation starter to say like, "Oh, didn't see you there. Didn't mean to bump into you," or "Hey, I bumped into you, but feel like I should introduce myself first to let you know, it wasn't intentional," or something like that. Like tonight, this woman hit me, and I was like, "Oh, came out swinging," and I was like, "Nah, that's okay." And then, so that was literally how the conversation started. Was her being close to me, dancing, then bumping into me, and it was like, "Okay, I'm gonna start talking to you now." Another one, a woman like bumped into me kept walking though, then bumped into someone else. When the other person looked back and responded after she bumped into the second person, I was like, yeah, the same thing just happened to me a second ago. I was like, God damn. But like one thing I just want to highlight there is that these little things that happen in the environment can be easy conversation starters, right? It can also demonstrate a bit of awareness, right? Not just that I got bumped, but then I was aware enough to see it happen to someone else and quick enough to then capitalize on it in the moment and speak to it, right? Showed an awareness, showed a common understanding, almost like a little inside joke. Also a bit of mental agility to say it in the moment, a bit of freedom to be able to speak up as opposed to staying quiet in that opportunity. And so all good things. And longest conversation was with one woman who was in part of a group of three. Even with her, I feel like I should have maybe done a little bit more. I feel like the conversation went well enough to where I should have asked for some sort of follow-up. That's one thing where I will be a bit hard on myself. I feel like there was opportunity to, hey, are you on Instagram? Or, hey, I'll be at Flash tomorrow if you're going to be in the area, or, whatever the case is, to say something. And the thing is too, like, part of my hesitation with wanting to exchange contact information with people is that my view now from my experience going out is pretty much like I'm not going to meet you and like you enough from that first night out to really feel confident about us meeting for a second night out. Like, it's just going to take longer than me seeing you out the first time to really want to hang out with you again. There are rare exceptions to that. So that is not, like, part of that is, because there are exceptions to that and I am saying it, then it means that it's not always true. And so sometimes it's a bit, I'm even like, again, being critical of myself, wondering if that's like a bit of an excuse sometimes to not, I didn't ask for follow-up, didn't ask for the phone number, didn't ask to see her again or whatever. And so maybe this is just like the rationalization after the fact for not acting in the moments like I would like to going forward. So that's in my mind. But, it's in my mind, something I'll think about going forward. But also there are plenty of other good things I did as well. In the conversation with her, through some compliments that were beyond just platonic. We did a little dance for a little bit. So like stuff to basically, like, the point I'm trying to make is that I felt like I was engaging in the conversation and not just a friendly vibe, not just a boring thing as well. I felt like it was interesting and helped lighten up her night to talk with me. And so that was cool. And like I said, there were other groups of people out there, more women tonight than men that I spoke to for sure. I also think that's partially just the demographics. I guess I'll say it in this video is like a number of the events I go to that are geared towards like a black audience tend to have more women than the non-black events. Like the black events is maybe 5% of the time for me. So it's pretty rare, but when I do go there, it does tend to be more women than the other events that I go to the other 95% of the time, or a greater share of women. And so that makes me more interested in going back to these events. Being honest, and it also makes me like a little feel some type of way as well to think, why are there a greater share of women at these events than other events, and to know the answer to that. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I think that's pretty much all I want to share about the night out. I guess just to follow up, that event did end at 3 and start at 10. I think maybe earlier in the week I talked about maybe the open bar before that. The open bar at 6:30, 8:30. I did not go because partially because I didn't have a good plan between the open bar ending and that event starting. I could have hung around, and I knew some people that would be out, but I didn't know what time the people would be out. A little bit of a walk to get from where I would have been for the open bar to where they were, and then it would have been an even farther walk to get from there back to my car. So, and I didn't particularly feel like drinking today. I did want to stay at home actually and do a little bit more work to finish editing that video that I've talked about for the past couple days, and I did finally finish it. Yeah! What I also wanted to say is that although it was a better night in terms of starting conversations with people, and particularly with groups, incrementally better. Like a noticeable increment, definitely, but incrementally better where I really still feel like I'm, to use someone else's phrase, like I'm punching at the wall instead of punching through it. I feel like when I really push, when I really get out there, when I really am talkative, when I really am starting these conversations, that it'll just get to a point where like a switch is flipped on, and instead of hesitating and thinking of reasons to not start, it'll just be like the hesitation is gone, and oh, they're there, go up and say hello. And even if I just say the random most boring thing, or hey, I came over hoping to think of something better to say but didn't think of anything, and so I'm still here now just standing in front of you and looking at you like whatever, but just going up and saying something and like taking it from there. Definitely. There were a couple times tonight, try to start conversations and people didn't notice. One time I was a little bit abrupt. So that was something that I have to like be more aware of as well. So overall, just, you know, but the thing is like those little like mistakes and things, like they aren't what's top of mind. What's more top of mind, much more top of mind is like when I didn't go up and say hello or start a conversation or that sort of thing. So like the nitpicking will stop once I start taking more action. And when I do nitpick, it'll be much more tactical and strategic. And I could have done this here, could have done that there. Like better tweaks as opposed to like didn't take the first most important step. So all in time, all part of the process. All getting a little bit closer and getting a little bit more in reach. So all good. I wish you the best. I am going to try and get some of that sleep as I talked about, and I hope y'all have a good night. If you were out there in the field as well, special shout out to you. Y'all the real ones. Y'all probably the ones that are subscribing as well. So shout out to you. You're a champion.